I'm going to take you to what to my taste is the best botanical garden in Miami. It's a hidden jewel called Zoo Miami. Yep. That's it. Zoo Miami, no kidding. I mean, when you go to visit a botanical garden, it may be for two reasons. Either you have a scientific interest in a given green specimen, or a group of them and you want to find more about their related species and their taxonomy, as they call it. Or, you are not a scientific botanist and what you're looking for is to get some ideas for your own garden, but then you don't find convincing seeing potted plants at the nursery. Rather, you're interested in watching them on their natural habitat in South Florida, and to check on how they thrive once planted on the ground, and the size they reach and how do they mix with other plants. I include myself among the second group of people. I have learned some scientific names of plants, what is a help for identifying them when you see them. But what I find much more interesting is to learn about the colors and contrasts and shapes, and volumes and textures. If you're among the landscaping enthusiasts, this is your place, and if you have already visited the Fairchild Tropical Botanical Garden, the official one in Miami, you should give a try to this one. As I said before, a real hidden jewel in Miami, because the main attraction of the zoo happens to be, right, the animals. So that if you don't look around, you can miss this beauty hidden in plain sight. I will come later to take you to specific areas or beautiful arrangements, but today my purpose is to introduce you to the general master plan design. The first thing that you'll notice is that most of the 4 miles long path is covered by a canopy of trees. The current Zoo Miami opened on July 4th, 1980, so that more than 40 years have passed, what makes it plenty of time for tropical trees to grow. However, it hasn't been a smooth path. In 1992, when the Zoo Miami vegetation had already taken shape into a mature park, the zoo suffered extensive damage when Hurricane Andrew made landfall in South Florida on August 24th. The small, yet intensely powerful Category 5 hurricane toppled over 5,000 trees in the zoo. By July 1993, many of the animals that were sent to other zoos and animal parks across the United States during the zoo's reconstruction had been returned to Miami, and over 7,000 new trees had been planted to begin restoring the zoo's tree canopy. Of the many tree species that we'll find at Zoo Miami, there are two that are the least showy, but I would say that provide the basic structure for the canopy: the live oak tree and the black olive tree. Southern live oaks are majestic trees that are emblems of the South. Unlike most oak trees, which are deciduous, the small-sized leaves of the southern live oaks are nearly evergreen. Wood from southern live oaks is incredibly tough and durable, and the tree itself is pretty tough, resistant to strong winds. The black olive tree is a tropical tree native to Central America and most of the Caribbean. It develops a strong, sturdy, large-diameter trunk covered by a thick, dense gray, deeply fissured bark. The tree canopy with small, smooth, oval leaves grows dense and tight. Together with those basic and almost boring two trees, there are other tropical species that provide colorful flowers to the Zoo Miami canopy, almost all year round. Most of them have feathery leaves that allow the light of the sun be filtered through their branches to reach the plants below as a soft shade. The royal poinciana with its abundant orange-red flowers, the related copper pod tree with its pyramids of yellow flowers, the jacaranda and its 1-foot-long panicle groups of light blue flowers, the tall African tulip tree blooms its red flowers above the average canopy. We'll also find at Zoo Miami the variety with yellow flowers. The powerful ceiba tree, mostly known as the floss silk tree. There are pink, purple and white varieties. As if protecting its beauty, the green-colored trunk is covered by threatening thick sharp conical prickles. Inside the enclosure where the African elephants are kept, we can admire the majestic though still young baobab. There is a second level of trees that are not as big but provide variety and fill the gaps between tall trees and shrubs. The so-called frangipani or plumeria. The flowers have 5 rounded and waxy petals that overlap each other, and come in many colors including pink, red, white, and yellow, orange, or pastel. The bauhinia trees are known as the orchid tree for the beauty of its flowers. You can identify them easily by its lobed leaves shaped as camel foot, as they are also known. The gumbo limbo is one of those curiosity trees that have nothing especially noticeable neither with their leaves nor flowers, but the bark of the trunk has earned for them the popular name of tourist tree because it is red and peeling, like the skin of the sunburned tourists who are a common sight in the Florida beaches. Also for the bark is famous the Australian rainbow eucalyptus. It's a pity that the umbrella tree is now considered an invasive species because the shape of its leaves to which it owes its name is certainly spectacular. It is usually multi-trunked, and once a year develops racemes of flowers up to 6 feet long at the top of the tree that contain up to 1,000 small red flowers. Then we also have the Jatropha, bridal bouquet in white, or the pink spectacular queen crepe myrtle. A whole world apart are the palm trees. If we pay attention, we will notice that not all the palm trees are the same. Actually, at Zoo Miami there are dozens of varieties of palm trees. Some of them are very tall, like the fast-growing, extremely hardy Washingtonia or the royal palm with its pillar-like smooth trunk that can grow up to 100 feet. Some have long pinnate leaves, other rounded fan leaves of numerous leaflets. Some are tall, as the two mentioned, and some are dwarf like the Chinese pygmy date palm or the European fan palm. Some produce big coconuts, like the coconut palm, some racemes of dates. Yet others, something in between. Generally all palm trees are green, but the Bismarck palm has a unique silver tone with nearly rounded leaves that in maturity reach 10 foot wide. The most voluminous may be the Talipot palm, with large, palmate leaves up to 16 feet in diameter. Certainly it's the palm with the largest inflorescence of any plant, 20-25 foot long, consisting of several million small flowers. Finally, there also are some that are called palms, and they are not, like the traveler's palm tree, a genus that is rather close to the bird of paradise plant and to the banana tree. And then, we have the shrubs. If the trees are structural, like the pillars and walls in a house, the shrubs would be the furniture. They are the most noticeable part of the garden and are entrusted to give color, form and warm feeling to our walks. After all, they are what is closer to us when walking around, since their size usually stays between 3 and 12 feet. The most attractive part of the shrubs is of course their flowers. It's unbelievable the amount of colors and hues that nature can deliver. Although it goes by schools the how to design a garden, in general it's better to avoid a profusion of colors put together, especially if the colors are strong. Fortunately the green color is super abundant on leaves and can be used to visually cool down color and as a background of an attractive display of flowers. The tropical climate of South Florida allows plenty of options to choose from. Some plants form part of the daily life of Floridians and are present on the next-door garden: hibiscus, bougainvillea, Mexican petunia, golden shower, plumigo, ixora, crinum lilies. Others go a step further on exoticism like heliconias, chenille plant, bush clock vine, Brazilian red cloak, firespike, or the queen's wreath. But don't be dazzled by the flowers to the point of forgetting the leaves themselves. With an tactical use of the shrubs with other than green leaves, we can have a beautiful garden all year round. Then the flowers will be a plus, a treat that comes at some point and then goes, but the garden stays attractive throughout the calendar year. Zoo Miami displays plenty of combinations built upon these non-green shrubs, masterfully combined with others that are plain green. The popular variegated trinet or arboricola is a South Florida gardener's dream plant, a showy, versatile, easy care shrub that thrives in full sun or shade. we'll say here on a number of places. In other cases, the all-green original variety will also be used as a cooler. Similar in color but with a different shape is the shell plant, a variegated version of the Alpinia ginger. Still within the yellow variegated, we have the Song of India, also known as Pride of India, and the Aucuba japonica, that goes by many names, like spotted laurel or gold dust. To end with the yellows, let's include here the golden pothose, also known as marble queen. Although it's a popular vine grown indoors as a small plant, here it climbs to the top of any tree with its large variegated leaves up to 40-inch long and 18-inch broad. The sister or tea plant red fuchsia color of its leaves is just shy of offensive, and can steal the show of any botanical arrangement, so that, better use it with moderation. But talking about colored leaves, there are two that fight for the number one in the Floridian ranking. One is the copperleaf, a fast-growing tropical evergreen shrub. It has 4 to 8-inch heart-shaped leaves that come in a variety of mottled color combinations of green, purple, yellow, orange, copper, crimson, pink, or white. This is one of the most used plants to provide year-round color to Zoo Miami. The other one is the croton. While the wild type has green glossy leaves, cultivated varieties, known as variety pictum, are grown for their variegated foliage. The leaf blades can be ruler lanceolate, oblong, elliptic, lanceolate, ovate inverted, ovate spatulate, violin-shaped or curly in color green, yellow, or purple in various patterns, depending on the variety. It's an almost never-ending game going around Zoo Miami discovering yet another variety of croton. But don't forget that we still have another dimension for the sake of combined arrangements, and it is shape. The leaves of the evergreens are usually green in color, but fortunately they are far from being all similar to each other. Small leaves, large leaves, fan type, umbrella leaves, long leaves. Sometimes we can decide to play with this dimension to configure groups that are all green and yet nevertheless gracefully diverse. And then, we have the bromeliads. This plant is another blessing of the tropics. It is so sober that doesn't need even soil. It can grow on the top of a rock, since it typically forms a cup in the middle which gathers rainwater and debris for nutrition. In the zoo we'll find some guzmanias, with their top leaves red, and some neorgelias that look like a bird's nest with a pincushion of little flowers. But the most represented type here is the Ahmea. This genus of over 255 plants happens to be the most spectacular of the bromeliads. It blooms once a colorful spear, that's the origin of the name in Greek, and then it dies, but a new shoot will appear from the base, forming a sort of colonies. That spear is different for each variety and all fit for a beauty contest. Some of them also display color on their leaves, orange, yellow, reddish, and also some with patterns. I find bamboos difficult to classify. Technically you can say that it's a species of evergreen perennial grass, but some varieties are so tall that grow taller than many trees, above 100 feet, and so strong that are used to make scaffolds for the construction of skyscrapers. The shade of some segments of the Zoo Miami paths is entrusted to bamboos instead of trees. Other shorter varieties like these with yellow skin are used as hedges. Hope that you enjoyed this introduction to what I consider the best botanical garden in Miami. Next time you visit Zoo Miami, pay attention to the green world that surrounds the animals, otherwise you'll miss the best part of it. We will now start to discover the art of combining plants, colors and shapes. See you soon at the zoo.